All right, we are on to part 2 of our mixer testing. And so we're gonna be making Cake by Courtney's vanilla buttercream. It's amazing, it's delicious. If you haven't tried it, it's our go-to. So we've got our cookie paddles, and we're just gonna follow Courtney's recipe, and we're gonna make a batch in each mixer.
Yep. The paddles just grabbed a hold of the butter, and the butter is just spinning. So far, nothing is happening. Wow.
That sounds terrible.
It sounds like something.
Yours looks worse than mine. Mine's like starting.
These look. There's like cuts in the butter from the spatula. It's not even from the paddles. I'm trying to help it out a little bit. Trying to kind of divide up the butter. It might still be a little too cold. I don't know, but I feel like with the KitchenAid it would have been fine. Yeah. Like this is usually how it is.
It's definitely chill, but it's not cold. Definitely having to help it.
Yeah, it needs a lot of help. It's like these sticks of butter are just getting stuck underneath the paddles and then nothing's moving. Maybe that's the loud noise. Maybe they're not spinning the way they're supposed to because of the butter.
Yeah.
This is like the 5th time I've stopped to help release the butter from the paddles. The butter just keeps sticking to the paddles and just moving around.
In one clump.
Exactly, yeah. So I just separated it. Whitney's was sticking to the column, so she just scraped it down to see if we can get a little more whip going on. So it just sticks right back to the paddles. I'm gonna try increasing the speed a little bit just to see.
Alright, we're probably like 4 or 5 minutes in, and it's definitely broken down. It's not stuck in its cubed form anymore, but it's sticking to the bottom and the sides, and it's not really aerating.
Yeah, mine is still stuck in clumps too.
There's no progress really. So we're gonna let it keep going and try and get some air and get that nice and fluffy before we add the sugar.
Yeah.
We make a lot of Courtney's buttercream, and this is the temperature of the butter that we always use.
Yeah. We know that it will succeed in a KitchenAid, but it is really
Struggling.
Yes.
This is getting there. I think we're good.
I'm finally getting to a point where it's not just sticking to the paddles, but there's so much space between the paddles and the side of the bowl that even while it was going, I could just be like this and scraping it back in, and then it was grabbing the butter to whip it again.
I also think there's a little bit of space between the cookie paddle and the center column.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It keeps
building
getting
up.
stuck right there. In the center, on the very bottom, and on the side.
And
It's just
that's
like avoiding the paddles, yeah.
Yeah.
My prediction is that this is as good as it's going to get. And once we start adding other ingredients, it will help, help the paddles to be able to grab all of the ingredients.
What level have you been using?
At about 3 minutes, I switched to the highest speed, so I was on 6.
Okay.
And it's still
5
just...
to 6. Needed lots of help to get
Yes,
to this
it did.
point.
Yeah. My arm is tired from scraping the bowl so much.
Now I think our butter is mostly creamed, I think, as well as it's gonna get.
Mine is very smooth, but it's not fluffy. It's not aerated like you're used to seeing.
So now we're gonna start adding the powdered sugar in on a low speed, about a cup at a time.
Okay. added the sugar, the beaters were moving and everything was beginning to combine, but now you can see how all the ingredients are just clinging onto that middle column, and the beaters aren't moving, they're just dragging. So it's run up against something. I'm going to scrape it down and see if that might help. Jeez Louise. This is hard work. The mixer's supposed to be doing the work.
Yeah, the NutriMill is definitely struggling, even compared to the Bosch. The Bosch struggled at first, and then once the butter was mostly creamed, it's been okay.
I've had to stop so often just to encourage the ingredients to get back into the middle. Buttercream is getting nice and fluffy. You can see along the side. The beaters are rotating in circles, so it's really helping. You can see how it's grabbing the ingredients at the bottom. The NutriMill, however, is really struggling. The beaters are not spinning. I just scraped this down and they went right back to staying still. It's having a really hard time. None of this frosting is even moving. See, this is really messy. You have to scrape the outside of the bowl, you have to scrape the inside column, because the beaters are just not touching. This is a pain. I don't like it.
And the Bosch, it's been going for about 3 minutes, and it is definitely lighter in color, pretty light and fluffy. So just comparing these two, you can definitely tell that this has that stronger motor. It's able to work hard enough where the beaters are able to spin individually as they go around the bowl. And that's where that's lacking.
It has needed so much manual help, and even after I scrape the whole bowl down, the beaters just stay still and they just drag the ingredients. I don't know what's wrong.
20 minutes in.
Yeah, 22. My gosh. This is ridiculous. Is your frosting done? Can I just use your beater?
It is done. It got pretty light and fluffy. It took a lot of extra help at first, but then it was fine.
Oh, this is a
Like,
mess.
look at the color difference.
Whitney's is so light and white, and mine is still pretty yellow.
So this is
like butter.
22 minutes in. Still super heavy, thick. This was from the NutriMill, and the Bosch, you can see the color difference. Super light, super fluffy, and it's been done for a few minutes. All right, we're ready for part 2 of our buttercream test. It's KitchenAid time.
I sure hope it goes better than the first part.
So we're gonna, same thing, start by adding our butter. It's the same temperature as it was for the Bosch. We've got all our ingredients ready. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Already I can tell the difference with this mixer. Get it focused. It's pushing the butter around the bowl, so there's pressure against the paddle to kind of keep going, and it's not getting stuck in one place. Get these also. So this mixer is on a speed 8. Yes. The beater, that attachment earlier, it's attached is a smaller diameter than the 6-quart. 6-quart. And as you can see, so you can see how fast this one is going. Winnie's is on the same speed. Hers is going a bit slower because the diameter has a lot more ground to cover. It does have a stronger motor. Seeing them both together, you can definitely tell that the smaller guy is going faster.
I think we're there. That's 2 minutes, 50 seconds. I'm not there yet.
I may have gotten a little excited about putting in the last bit of my powdered sugar. It exploded all over the side of the mixer. But the frosting is coming together really well. So that's a plus. I have all of my ingredients added. I have not had to stop a single time to scrape down the sides, which is a welcome change from the NutriMill, which took forever and about 14 scrapes around the bowl. So it's coming together really well. It's almost done. Whitney is adding her sugar right now. It's starting to grab on and come together. The mixes are doing great. My buttercream is ready.
This one needs like maybe another minute. It still can get a little fluffier, but we're close.
It's fluffy and perfect. It smells amazing.
All right, we let it go for just another minute or two to really incorporate some air. And there it is.
Good. Looks fluffy.
Super light, fluffy. It's a nice color.
It's perfect. So if you have a KitchenAid, Courtney's recipe works perfectly.
It's great.
If you have a Bosch and you have made buttercream, please tell us your secrets.
Yeah, I would love to know like what recipe you're using, what like proportion of the ingredients.
And like the temperature of your butter too.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be cold and the KitchenAid handled it fine. But the Bosch and the NutriMill both struggled with the cold butter.
Yeah, and it's not even cold out of the fridge, it's chilled. Like it's
Slightly
still,
cold.
yeah, cool to the touch, but enough you can like leave a finger imprint. And
Yeah, exactly.
the Bosch, once it took a minute to get going and a little bit of help, but it got there. The NutriMill really struggled.
Yeah, it was 25 minutes, is that what it was?
Yeah.
And the texture is still terrible. I was just telling Whitney we probably need to throw that batch into a KitchenAid to give it some air. It wouldn't be very tasty to eat right now.
Yeah, I think just the difference in the motor size, it couldn't get the torque that it needed to really rotate the butter. So very interesting.
Yes, KitchenAid wins buttercream, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.